So now I'd like to get you all excited for one of the most dynamic advocates I have ever met. Rhie Azzam-Morris is a national leader in homeless response systems change. Rhie is an educator and leader in racial equity work, an organizer and a thought partner and strategist in addressing and working towards a better world for all. Rhie is a formerly unsheltered homeless youth, and she is now a technical assistance provider on HUD initiatives such as the Youth Homelessness Demonstration Project and Coordinated Entry Racial Equity Initiative. Rhie gives much credit to the community of providers in Austin, Texas, for where they are today. Currently, Rhie sits on the board of directors for the Other Ones Foundation, and they have recently collaborated with the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness as a reviewer and reviser of All In, the federal strategic plan to prevent and end homelessness. You can find out more about Rhie on their website. Rhie will be sharing 3 poems with us, taking us on a journey starting from 2006 when they were a young hitchhiker. Their second poem was written while Rhie was receiving services, and the third and last poem was written more recently when Rhie stepped into her role as a technical assistance provider for HUD. So thank you for joining us, Rhie. This is your first time at a My Dog is My Home conference. So welcome to this community. Before we begin, I'd love for people to hear a bit more from you. I think you must get asked a lot to do speaking engagements. You're an incredible talent and force, but you said yes to the co-sheltering conference. So thank you for that. And I just wanted to ask you why. What do you think is the value of this particular intersection of work?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you all for having me. Yeah, well, so when I do these poems, the first one I wrote when I was hitchhiking. And as a hitchhiker, I got on a school bus one day. I don't know if anyone's familiar with rainbow gatherings. This was a long time ago. I was a bit of a hippie. And it was like what we used to call like a short bus, but it was a kitchen for the rainbow gatherings. And I promise I'm going to answer your question in this, I swear. But when I got on the bus, our bus had 6 kids and 9 dogs because one of the dogs had just had puppies. And sorry, have people in the background speaking. I'm sorry about that, y'all. But so I got on the bus and I sat down, and this tiny dog, it was like 2 weeks old, or not 2 weeks, 2 months old. It had been weaned already, jumped into my lap and he peed on me. And everybody was like, well, that's your dog now. You've been claimed. And I was like, okay, I've been claimed. And I traveled with him for a while. I trained him up on how to be a road dog and what it meant. And he saved my life a couple of times, quite literally, while I was a hitchhiker. I learned after the second time that if he did not react well to getting into a vehicle, we didn't get into that vehicle because he quite literally stopped a couple of really horrible things from happening to me. So then I ended up in Austin. I'm from Dallas originally, and I ended up in Austin, where that kind of became the place I was working to get off the street. Or at that time, I'm not sure I was 100% getting off the street, but I was wanting to. I was young, you know. And as I started getting into programs and getting, referrals into opportunities, we were finding often that I couldn't take it because they wouldn't take Danny. He couldn't go. I couldn't get into emergency shelter because I had a dog and I wasn't going to leave him outside. When we're on the street, our dogs are our animals, are our family. It's not just, it is that same bond, right, that we have with our family members. To this day, I have 4 cats and a dog in my house. They are my family and I will do whatever it takes for them. And when I was on the street, Danny ate before I did. My dog ate before I did. And that was always true. And I often tell people, because they'll see people flying a sign and they'll be like, oh, it's so irresponsible of them to have a pet. And it's like, yo, like, you go to work 8 hours a day and leave. Sometimes you hear stories of dogs being crated, things like that. And it's like, dogs are pack animals and we were a pack. When I finally got housed up, I had to give Danny to my cousin, who had a big backyard and children. So that was lucky. It was lucky I was able to stay in his life until he passed away, but he couldn't come with me. There were breed restrictions, there were pet deposits, just all kinds of things that were not attainable to a 22, 23, 24-year-old who's trying to, for the first time, get stable. And losing Danny was a part of my stability, right? And I was lucky that I was able to have a family member who could take him. And so I think the mission here is so important. We see so often people who are just passing up opportunities for their own safety and housing and shelter because they will not give up their family, and they should not be asked to do that. And so I would deeply encourage those of you who are doing any work in the homeless response system that are here, continue coming to these conferences and working with My Dog Is My Home to find ways to create policies that make it attainable for people to be able to be housed up with their family, and understanding that our animals are family. If you spend any amount of time with one of your pets, they've got personalities and characters, and it costs us a lot when we can't get access to housing. So I think that's the biggest reason I'm here, and I know that's the biggest reason I'm here, is I'm just so deeply grateful to the work that y'all do, and want to be a part of supporting it in any way that I can.
Thank you so much, Rhie. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here. And thank you for saying it better than I could say it. Thank you so much. And I think we're all very eager to hear from you. So feel free to begin whenever you are ready.
Okay. So yeah, thank you. And thank you for, this is a new thing for me. I'm really excited about it. I used to do spoken word when I was a street kid. So when I hitchhiked, I would go to open mics and I would perform poetry, and people would be like, wow, are you not from here? Where are you staying? And I'd be like, I don't know, where's the public library? Kind of thing. And so this is doing it on Zoom is going to be a whole new experience. I'm pretty stoked about it, and I appreciate it, again, the opportunity. So yeah, like Christine said, I've got 3 pieces. This first one I wrote in 2006 when I was hitchhiking. And then, yeah, I'll give you a brief little thing before each. So this one I wrote as a hitchhiker, so I called it Tribute. I was also very deeply impacted by the beatniks. If anybody is familiar with the beatnik scene of the 50s, you will hear that in some of these poems, especially this one, Tribute. And also, y'all, I'm going to use my phone to just remember where I'm at. So if you see me looking down, that's why. And otherwise I'll be, if you're happy to be on screen, I love seeing faces. And if not, that's totally okay too. So this is Tribute. It's becoming more and more this whole new wave, round sound, confessional thing. And while Ginsberg saw the best minds of his generation destroyed, and Berlin-Getty was trading junk for the Isle of Man as free, we became a collective who couldn't see beyond the scope of our own neurosis. And somehow changing the world by changing ourselves has led way to nothing more than poetic narcissism. And still the world is turning, and still the fires are burning for a people who are nothing doing. Alan, I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by Ritalin, overtaken by Prozac, gone down the American dream, baby boom offspring choking down drug after pill after med. For what? We've bared our souls on couches, cross-country nannies. We don't need no stinking nannies. We've got therapists now and 9-year-olds who can psychoanalyze with the best of them. A generation of parents who weren't ready, and children without a voice or a choice, who left home as soon as they could, who were told to medicate or get out, who traded broken jaws for alleyways, midnight molestations for sidewalk solicitations, who found excuse after excuse for black eyes and bloody noses because they never knew that love is free, who traded bullets instead of punches, found peace down the barrel of a gun whose 8-year-old brain, 9-year-old brain, 10-year-old brain was shocked into stillness by the side effect of psych meds. No accountability, no responsibility, no sense of home, who traveled cross-country seeking visions of Kerouac, Cassidy, and the gang, and found instead ideals shattered under the heel of expansion, who discovered the great untouchable West, tainted by miles of orange at every turn, who went to jump from the golden gates to the pearly ones and found sanity in a call box, who sold their souls to the genie of capitalism for one wish, walked downtown and were overcome by brick-mouthed monsters, whose outlawed freedom rotted away 15 months behind America's best-known color scheme, who found the only freedom afforded by this great nation fallen down the hole of a grainer, America. America, your pharmaceutical companies are destroying us. America, your freedom comes with a price tag. America, why are you not howling in outrage? Your children are dying. Your people are starving. Your freedom is in your mind. America, when did nurturing give way to brainwashing? When did fact become opinion? When did you allow your ideals to be left beaten and swollen, lying in the dirt, broken by the fists of your democracy? So I was an angry 20-something, 2006. So this next piece, I'm an angry 40-something, and oh my God, I'm a 40-something in 2024. So what are you gonna do? So this next piece I wrote in 2019, and actually I was working in an organization that I had been receiving services from as a young person. I got hired to work there, and that's what started my journey. So it's kind of this is a collection, I guess, of taking you through where I went from hitchhiking kid to like where I'm at today. So this is called the Houston Hyatt. I'm buying a $4 coffee in the hotel lobby of the Hyatt fucking Regency using money provided by the organization sponsoring this whole excursion, carrying no cash, attending a conference, working with youth experiencing homelessness. I only exist in this opportunity because once I slept on the streets. Once I knew the uncertainty of my next meal. I knew the fear of my next steps. I knew the caution of sleeping out alone. Today, I hold a position in an organization where once I received services for being young, alone, and afraid. And as I'm buying this coffee using a piece of plastic that at one time I couldn't comprehend, a man walks past. A familiar scent, a well-known stance, a furtive glance. He's walking through this space asking for change, a little help, a moment of humanity, a chance to escape the sweltering humidity of Houston early mornings. I know him. Not in the sense that I know his kind, that I identify with his shame, that I grasp his fear. No, I know him. We once shared that fabled title of drag rat. As youth, we wandered the limbo of our city, the then safe space for youth who had no place to call home. We weren't close. I preferred mushrooms to methamphetamines. We existed in different hierarchies, but we would have had each other's backs against the normies, the police, those that would see us exterminated. He slunk past me this morning looking for a break, relief from whatever tortures hide behind wild eyes and desperation, and there I am. I don't carry cash anymore, save for petty funds to fill my youth's bellies, work I spent this morning doing. Eyes barely open, having had no coffee, I came to this space to talk about youth experiencing homelessness, to hold and take space as an expert in that field. My expertise found in memories that he stokes with a slinking glance. I can't give him money, not even a cigarette these days, yet he holds in him the truths I've spent a decade trying to escape, while I sit in space as an expert in the agonies, in the beauties, the comedies, and the tragedies, capitalizing on what is no longer my pain. There's a flicker of recognition. It passes between us, a fissure up my spine. He can't place me clean and secure, dressed for opinions and panels. But I couldn't erase the recall if I tried. So it was 2019. And then I wrote this piece last year called Collective Breath. I want to write the words that birth a collective breath, a belly deep moment, an instant in which we shift our understanding to one of our collective roles and contracts we never signed and power upheld in earnest. And we exhale the fear that holds us frozen in facilitated parts. Words that open hearts to the agony of the dialect and the through line of hope that shrouds our choices. I can't find the words to illuminate why the golden rule simply means seeing the wholeness in the human being in front of you, to express that we're each experiencing ourselves and everyone around us. And so the number of people existing in each room is exponential in every moment. I want you to see in one breath the young woman standing before the trash can on 4th in Colorado, so hungry and desperate for food that her actual choice that steamy night was the closed white styrofoam of someone else's dinner, or nothing at all for the 3rd night in a row. I want you to hold the truth of what that decision must have been. And in the next breath, I want you to know the woman before you now who trains boardrooms on how to shape systems. And I don't know how to tell you that they are one and the same. And I worry about your judgment from the moment I cross the threshold, how I'm going to prove myself to this room. And I don't know how to tell you that we are products of systems that we sign off on every day, and that we ourselves are the very systems that we deride. I want to find the words to express how much I know that makes you afraid, how much I know it feels as though it's stealing your power, your freedom, your choice. And there is a truth that your freedom is both an illusion and the only choice that you have. That is the agony of the dialect, the tension that breeds this discomfort and fear. And I want you to know how I know this. I want you to be moved by my scars, impassioned by my wounds, because these aren't only wounds I carry. Instead, the weight we all bear. And I can't find the words to explain what this means. And all I want to do is write the words that birth a collective breath.
Thank you, Rhie.
Ooh, thanks.
Thank you.
Ooh.
What? Yeah. Yes, that's what I'm doing too. What an incredible way to start our 3 days together. Thank you for joining us, for energizing us and inspiring us. Everyone, silent round of applause, chatterfall, emoji love bombs for Rhie, or, snapping. Rhie, you can't see the chat in Whova because you're joining us through Zoom, but people are really moved by what you have shared with us. And it's just beautiful what you've done for us to start off our learning journey together this way. So thank you. I appreciate it. So again, everyone, please give your love to Rhie. And Rhie, how can we continue to follow you, to learn from you? Where should we look?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I'm online. If you look me up, I have a website. My name's pretty unique, so if you Google me, I'm there. My email and stuff is in Whova, and I will be joining conference things throughout the conference in Whova. Anybody who wants to screenshot the Chatterfall though and send me a message, I like all humans love validation, but also love to know that there was an impact for folks, because it was a big sharing. And so anybody who wants to do that can, please feel free to message me through Whova, and we can get connected. I'm on Instagram, but mostly if you want to know more, it's just check out my website, which is rhiannon.com, but I have to spell it out because it's not spelled like the Stevie Nicks song.
Well, thank you again, Rhie. Appreciate it.